A highly developed extraterrestrial civilization arrives on the planet to change and subdue humans. It's early morning. Los Angeles is still asleep. Suddenly, bright luminous objects start falling from the sky to Earth, and their light awakens Elaine. She runs to the bathroom, but when she returns, the lights are still glowing brightly. Elaine wakes her boyfriend Gerard as the building begins to shake under the impact of the unknown objects. A scream is heard from the neighboring room, and Gerard runs there. It turns out his friend Ray also saw the bright light, looked out from behind the blinds, and then simply left. Gerard also looks out the window, not noticing the blood vessels appearing on his face. An unknown force draws him to the light, and he almost succumbs to this call. The action shifts to the day before, when Elaine and Gerard are flying to Los Angeles to visit their friends. Here, Terry has achieved great success and decided to invite old friends to his birthday. A luxurious car meets the couple at the airport, and soon they arrive at an expensive penthouse. Elaine is amazed by the view and feels like the house is floating in the clouds. They change clothes and head to the pool. People congratulate Terry, and Gerard remarks that his friend achieved everything he wanted, to which Terry promises to take the group on a ride on his super yacht. Suddenly, helicopters fly by, but Terry attributes it to his security detail. Later, a birthday party begins, and suddenly one of his colleagues congratulates Gerard on joining their team, which surprises Elaine. She leaves, and the friend apologizes to Gerard, saying he intended to convey it differently. The guy goes to find her, and she suddenly confesses she is pregnant. He is puzzled, and then it becomes clear that his friend is cheating on his wife with yet another actress, and Elaine doesn't want such a future for them. She runs away. Meanwhile, in the living room, everyone is entertained by observing a couple in the neighboring house through a telescope. When the manager asks them to keep the noise down, Terry's wife decides it's time to end the party, and everyone disperses to their rooms. Early in the morning, Elaine is awakened by a bright light from outside and wakes Gerard. Meanwhile, Ray, having opened the blinds, looks out the window to find out what's happening. Blood vessels begin to appear on his face, and a mysterious force pulls him outside. Denise screams, and everyone else hears it and runs to the living room. Gerard also looks at the light, and the vessels appear on his face, and his eyes are covered with a glowing film. He's almost ready to follow his friend, but the youths grab him while Denise closes the blinds. Once in darkness, he gradually comes to his senses and regains his normal appearance. The people around don't understand what's happening. Terry can't understand where his friend went and runs onto the balcony, only to see the luminous objects flying into the sky. He tries to ask Gerard what he saw or felt, but Gerard can't say anything specific. They try to see what's happening outside and notice people on the rooftop. Gerard and Terry decide to go up there and have a look while the girls try to call the cops. However, no one answers their calls. Terry arms himself, and Gerard says goodbye to Elaine, using their special gesture on her face, and the guys leave. In the corridor, they meet an elderly neighbor, Walt, while the girls try to get news, but neither the phones nor the TV work. Meanwhile, the guys go up to the roof. Everything is quiet and calm, and feeling more relaxed, Terry suggests exploring the roof looking for an exit, while Elaine tries to call her mother, but she doesn't answer. Meanwhile, the guys on the roof see hundreds of luminous objects starting to descend from the sky, transforming into spaceships, from which smaller objects fly out and begin to scour the city. They run to the door, and Terry tries to shoot the lock, but they fail until Elaine opens the door from the inside. However, one of the objects hovers right in front of them, and upon looking at it, the girl is covered with a network of vessels. But Gerard carries her downstairs and brings her to her senses. Later, Gerard shows a frame from the footage he managed to take on the roof. It clearly shows how the alien ships literally suck in all the people they encounter. Elaine recalls that the light literally controls a person, and unexpectedly, Terry leaves somewhere. Gerard, going out, feels some changes in his body but doesn't admit it. It turns out the friend is going to a neighbor to get the keys to his big car. He invites the old man to join them, but he refuses, and his little dog starts to bark, attracting the attention of an alien whose tentacles slither into the room, starting to search the corners. Terry, shooting back, makes his escape. He tells friends what happened and suggests they make it to his yacht. Elaine tries to dissuade her friends and a dispute arises. Suddenly, the blinds on the windows rise, and the guys see alien ships hovering a few meters away. They all hide while the aliens inspect the premises. This prompts everyone to decide to head to the yacht. They go down in the elevator, and suddenly, Terry's wife declares she will go separately from her husband and runs to her car. But as soon as the first car drives onto the street, a huge monster steps on it, instantly killing Denise, then catching up to the fleeing Terry. The survivors return to the garage, where they are attacked by another monster. While they try to hide, the neighbor falls under the spell of a beam and walks into the alien's mouth. Friends run to a door that turns out to be locked. Gerard begins to be covered by a network of vessels, succumbing to the alien's call when a fast-moving SUV, driven by the building manager Oliver, crashes into it. The neighbor's wife screams, seeing her husband emerging from the alien remains, and rushes to help. But the monster, having survived, grabs the man and, replenishing itself with his brain, restores itself. Meanwhile, people flee, but outside, they encounter a huge beast that begins to chase them, killing the neighbor's wife. The remaining survivors lock themselves in Terry's apartment. They mourn the dead, but Oliver snaps Gerard back to reality. He suggests staying here and waiting for help, and Elaine admits she's pregnant and fears losing the baby due to stress. Oliver suggests the women rest while they keep watch. All night they don't see any people, but suddenly shots are heard from the street, indicating someone is resisting. By morning, the girl notices Gerard's condition worsening. She herself, having gazed at the alien for just a couple of seconds, felt ill for a long time, while he was under the influence longer. It is unknown what they did to their bodies, and suddenly Gerard confesses he feels some new strength within him. The next day, the water supply to the apartment stops. He suggests making another attempt to get to the yacht, but the others express opposition since they've tried once before. And then the sounds of aircraft engines are heard from the street. Opening the windows, they see armed forces attacking the aliens, but drones and bombers prove to be absolutely powerless against the invaders. One of the ships is knocked down, but everyone sees it quickly recovers, and the monsters attack people again. Oliver and Candace rush to curtain the windows while Gerard gathers supplies. He intends to leave and take Elaine, although the girl is strongly against it. And then they see an army helicopter landing on the roof. Gerard persuades the women to run to the helicopter, but Oliver hits him in the face and orders him to calm down, saying the helicopter isn't a taxi, and the military probably didn't come to rescue them. Gerard's eyes are covered with a silver film. He attacks the man and then wants to take Elaine, but the girl fears him. Gerard uses his signature gesture on her face, convincing her not to be afraid. They ascend to the roof, see a SWAT team, and try to ask for help. Meanwhile, an alien notices Candace and drags her away. The aliens kill the SWAT team and knock the chopper down. Elaine and Gerard also try to get back inside, but an alien waits for them on the stairs. He manages to grab Elaine, but Gerard cuts off his tentacle, and they notice a construction cradle and run to it. Meanwhile, Oliver, having opened the gas, prepares to blow up the apartment. A skirmish begins, and Oliver makes it to the lighter and ends up blowing up the building along with the alien that had penetrated it. After a while, the alien regains consciousness and attacks Elaine. Gerard's face darkens, and in a fit of rage, he attacks the monster, ripping its mouth apart and starting to tear out organs from its head. The monster dies, but Gerard also gets wounded. They try to escape when an aerial battle flares around them. A plane fires on the alien, trying to catch the pair, but it is shot down. Falling, the craft crashes into the alien and kills it. Gerard loses strength and asks Elaine to save herself, and the sky above them fills with aliens. They are caught in a beam of light, dragging them into the ship. On the third day of the attack, the enormous metropolis lies in ruins, and there are no people left there. Meanwhile, Elaine wakes up inside the ship on a pile of dead bodies. She sees the aliens extracting brains from people. Some they devour, while others they place into humanoid hosts. The same happened to Gerard. The aliens discover Elaine's pregnancy and send her to a separate section for extracting the embryo. Meanwhile, Gerard's extracted brain unexpectedly turns red instead of blue like the others. When it is inserted into an alien host, it turns out that Gerard's consciousness can completely control it, and he engages in battle to save the girl and the future child from death. To make her recognize him, he uses his claw to perform his signature gesture on her face. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Make sure to like this video and leave a comment about what you think of this movie.